Hey, welcome to BK Live. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday. We're one day away from Friday, a really sweet Friday, actually,
yes,
for a lot of people.
End of the work time.
Right, on vacation.
Over.
Robin Cloud is here, of course.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here, Robin. So before we get into it, this woman who was born and raised in the Bronx, snuck away down to Atlanta, is now $324 million richer.
Yes. So we were talking about what would we do, whether we would be public about that kind of money, or whether we would go live in a compound and be alone. I don't know. I think I would be more private. I would not be on the cover of the Daily News.
Well, her sisters still live in the PJs in the Bronx,
not for long.
In the same apartment that they've lived in for like 40 years. As a family, they've been in that apartment, and they're looking for a new place to live today. As you could imagine, $324 million might afford you a new place, or two,
or five.
But you would pull one of those, like your phone doesn't work anymore. You just out.
I would have my lawyer pick up the check.
I'm a something of a shrinking violet, so I wouldn't mind being in the newspaper.
You'd be like,
I was like, hey, new sweaters. All right, so everybody's doing their top 10 list for 2013, or they're asking people to vote on this year's best this or worst that. Well, we're a television show on a TV channel, so we're going to talk about TV today, where it's gone this past year and what we might expect to see in the next year.
That's right. And then back in a few minutes, we're going to have Simon Applebaum, someone who's closely watched and commented on the medium for over 30 years. And he is the producer and host of the online radio and podcast show, Tomorrow Will Be Televised.
Thanks for being here, Simon.
A pleasure, Robin Bryan.
Thank you.
And later on, a bunch of our BK Live team members were lucky enough to have a terrific holiday meal yesterday, courtesy of the Pearl Room in Bay Ridge. And we also got to watch Chef Anthony Rinaldi preparing the food in his kitchen.
Excellent. So I've got my virtual knife and fork all ready for that.
Well, then you'll want to work up an appetite. And I know the best exercise for that is a little walk around the block.
All right. Well, here we go. Mayor Bloomberg may not have sent out a holiday card as wacky as the final one from outgoing borough president Marty Markowitz. I mean, no one else could. But as the Brooklyn Spectator reports, the mayor is also tooting his administration's horn a bit when it comes to how well Brooklyn is doing after his 12-year reign. His Honor says life expectancy is up by about 3 years, and the number of Brooklynites who smoke fell to just 16%. Murders are down 43%. And shootings 35%. Traffic fatalities down 29%, more than 29,000 new school seats, almost 79,000 new private sector jobs, affordable housing units up by more than 43,000, 36 new hotels, trees planted 150,000, plus 102 new acres of parkland, more than 100 capital projects for arts and culture, and hey, we are sitting in one of them right now. FDNY, New York City's fire department, held its graduation ceremony this week, and the Amsterdam News noted that it was the most diverse class of probationary firefighters in the city's history. Of the 242 graduates, 62% were people of color, 36% were Hispanic, and 24% were Black. The event at the Christian Cultural Center in East New York was also a big day for the Vulcan Society, the Fraternal Order of Black Firefighters, which has been fighting for years to end what it saw as racial discrimination in the city's hiring practices. Of the city's 7,700 firefighters, says the FDNY, 1,230 are now of color, double, Bloomberg has said at the ceremony, what it was when he took office. They may not be officially among New York's finest and bravest, cops or firefighters that is, but the Brooklyn Inc. says as a miscellaneous group of citizens wants to help knock out the knockout game that's plagued the borough for the past few months. There's the Crown Heights Shomrim, for example, Jewish volunteers who guard their neighborhood, hoping to stop burglaries and anti-Semitic attacks. Then there's the New York Initiative, martial artists who are patrolling Crown Heights, Williamsburg, and Bushwick. Each has a superhero alias like Zero or Dark Guardian, and they all wear Kevlar vests. If they witness an assault, they will call the cops. They won't fight themselves. The best known of these civil volunteer groups is the Guardian Angels, led by Curtis Sliwa, who says he's seen the knockout game phenomenon several times over the years. Says Sliwa, if you plan to knock someone out, we are happy to substitute for an old person, but we will punch back. Congratulations to the Prospect Park Zoo, where DNA Info says 5 Chinese big-headed turtles were hatched last month. This calls for another BK Live moment of aww. Now, not only because the babies are so cute, but because DNA says it's the first time the endangered species has been successfully reproduced in a North American zoo. The turtles are called big-headed not because they're conceited, but because their skulls grow too large to retract into their shells. These new turtles won't be on display, but an adult female bighead can be seen at the zoo's Animals in Our Lives building. Zoo staff is keeping a close eye on the babies to see which one has Yertle tendencies.
Well, with those big old heads, how could they not have a
I don't know. I don't know how they even get around.
I live 2 blocks from Prospect Park, and I got to see those turtles. Gotta see
well, the mom is on display, so you can go check out the mom.
One other thing, Robin, Brian, you mentioned the list of what Mayor Bloomberg's accomplished. One of the big things he accomplished on the television side is that there are now over 30 TV shows that are produced here in New York. And it's going to be very interesting to see what the incoming Mayor Bill de Blasio, who of course comes from Brooklyn, and my area, Park Slope in particular, what he's going to do with the Mayor's Office of Film and Entertainment. Catherine Oliver, who was a big part of that push to have TV series produced here, is leaving. So it'll be interesting to see whether
the commish.
Who's going to be coming. Yep, the commish.
That's right.
Yeah.
So with the commish leaving, and Catherine did a marvelous job, had a great TV background as a reporter before taking on that government role. It'll be interesting to see who Blasio takes in her place.
Who should take that job?
I don't know. A lot of possibilities. It depends on whether you want someone who has government experience or, like Catherine Oliver, someone who came out of television experience or television news.
Well, Simon Applebaum is here, everybody. He's the host and producer of Tomorrow Will Be Televised, and we've already gotten into it, so why stop now? So
Absolutely.
New York City has benefited a lot from some tax credits that came down. Yesterday, we had someone here from a French sitcom, the Taxi. Brooklyn Taxi, that's the first sort of international show that's benefited from those tax credits. But what else is being shot in New York that we should be watching?
Well, one of the big shows of this year is Orange is the New Black from Netflix, which many people are watching on their TV sets, not on their personal computer or their smartphone tablets. It is by far one of maybe the best new show of this year. Very well done. It's a show that defies description.
Yeah.
If Netflix had released the show a month or 2 before it came out, it probably would have won the Emmy Award for Best Comedy. It has got a wonderful cast. It's diverse. It's a show that explores diversity. It's a show that deals with not just prison life, but people's lives in prison.
Yes.
And Genji Cohen, who's the writer and creator of the show, with her writing team, does a magnificent job.
Yeah.
I also, and it's interesting that in the Golden Globes, the lead actress was nominated for Best Drama Actress, not Best Comedy Actress, because of the nature of the show. You sometimes don't know whether it's a drama, a dramedy, or a comedy, and that's the beautiful thing about it. It defies description.
But it really is so diverse. They have a transgender character in the form of Laverne Cox, who is on the show. They have lots of people of color.
Yeah, totally.
All along the social strata, and they're all in prison
That's right.
together.
And that's what I think a lot of people, you know, in the first episode, you weren't sure whether it was going to be like focused on this, like, you know, this one white woman, and it's like, this is her story. But now, as you watch and go through the season, you see it opens up, and you've got backstories for all of the characters. And it's really,
and in a way,
really
Robin,
dynamic.
that is one of the big stories of this year, is that we are seeing more and more diversity on television. And that's critical because we are becoming a multiracial, multicultural society.
Right.
Sooner than we think, we are going to have people of color be the majority public of this country. And if I've always said this a long time, if a television network, if a television series, if websites, et cetera, do not showcase people of color in front of and behind the camera or in front of them behind the personal computer, there's trouble.
Right.
You have to appeal, you have to have people of color in front of and behind that camera, and Orange is the New Black is a great example of that.
Why do you think some of the cable networks are able to make that leap when, you know, you'll still see like NBC family series and it's 4 shows and it's all white people?
I don't know. It's tough to say. Sometimes it may be the producers. Sometimes it may be the production company. Sometimes it may be the way people are cast or booked in terms of being producers, writers, directors. Sometimes I hear that in terms of a new series, one of the issues they have is in order to make it, you've got to go with who you know. as opposed to take a chance on who you don't.
Right.
But there are other people who say, hey, I've worked for new series. For example, I had the people from Hung, and I asked this question of them about diversity, and Hung has hired women, people of color in directing and writing roles, and they were a new show. And they did it off the bat. They did not wait to second season, third season.
Right.
It's a very difficult thing to say.
Right,
it's a very difficult thing to pin down. But the bottom line is, it has to happen. And and we're now getting studies, by the way, coming out that's saying that shows on cable, shows on broadcast that have diverse writing teams, diverse directing teams, diverse crew, diverse actors in front of the camera, they are getting more audience than shows that are really white.
More narrow.
That's right.
So let's talk about Orange is the New Black made a big splash, House of Cards as well, but the broader sense of this is binge TV that you can parse out and watch episode by episode, or just burn up that snowy weekend watching these things. Is that a model that we're going to be seeing more of?
I think so. It's either going to be binge the whole show or binge, let's say, 4 or 5 episodes at a time, depending on what your viewing habit is. We're starting to get research that suggests that binge viewing, to some extent, is becoming a big deal. And the people behind Breaking Bad, I'm sure, are very happy that people were binge viewing the previous seasons because they had a great final season on AMC.
What does that mean for TV as a business, though? Because we know that the model that we're used to is you watch the show, you watch a commercial, that's the balance. But if you're staying at home and you watch something like Orange is the New Black all the way through on a subscription service, as it is, like, how is that shaking out on the business end?
A couple of ways. One is it showcases that people have an appetite for television, and they have an appetite for more complex characters. They want not just shows that are, go one way or another, but have shades of gray to it. It doesn't always have to end happy or doesn't have sad. It can go mixed. And I think it shows the maturity of the American public. It shows that I think we sometimes tend to underplay the intelligence they have about the kind of shows they will watch and the intensity which they watch them. And because of things like binge viewing, because of Twitter and Facebook, these people can now react quick to what they see. And they also get more absorbed in the show off the bat. Another example is Homeland on Showtime. From the moment that show went on the air, people were saying, this is the most absorbing thing I can watch. I love these characters. I love where the plot goes. I'm so hooked on the program that I can't help but watch it from week to week, despite the complexity of the storyline.
Well, it's like Scandal. For poor people who can't afford cable, Scandal is like a Homeland sort of phenomenon where people are tweeting the whole time.
It becomes like you become a part of the show. They call the viewers gladiators, and there's all this interaction now, which is very different from what TV used to be. You used to sit, watch the show, but now you can tweet, you can talk about it. Where do you think television is going in terms of the internet? Because now, I even have a couple of web series online. That's a whole new phenomenon that's opening up.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here is smart TV sets. You now have every TV set maker making sets that allow you to watch your favorite shows, the web, not just web video, the web, websites, and original interactive apps on it. And we are now getting information that people are watching the web. They're watching Yahoo, they're watching Twitter, they're watching blogher.com, they're watching such and such a website, TripAdvisor, whatever. And they're beginning to use these interactive apps, whether it's games or whether it is information sites and so forth, or whether it's transactional things like Kayak, to use on the set. And either use the remote control or they will use their smartphone tablet, download the app on the TV set, and they'll use the the smartphone tablet as the remote. Or if they're playing a game, the joystick or the controller. And that's a pattern of behavior that's beginning to happen because people are getting more exposed to these sets because every TV set maker is making them. Plus, you can also use the set in so many ways. You can use your voice to say what show you want to watch. You can use gestures like Connect, the Xbox feature that allows you to dictate the pace or the control of the set. And the capacity of these sets, the capability of these sets is only going to grow and grow over time. And if you're a website or your smartphone or tablet app, you had better have a TV strategy to make your vehicle as interactive, as unique, as pleasing to the viewer as possible.
So talking about what we're going to be watching these things on, I know we have some video of a phenomenal TV that I will be dreaming about for the next few years until I can have one, these super new TVs that are coming out.
And incidentally, that's why people are watching Netflix, and they're watching Hulu, and they're watching Amazon. And if you want to know why all three of these ventures and Xbox will make original programs, particularly original scripted shows, it's because they are getting, from the top down, people are watching my stuff on the television set. They are not watching on the personal computer. They are not watching on the smartphone. They are watching it on the TV set.
How far away are these huge, crazy megapixel blowout TVs that we're seeing right now? Like, this is the first look at one of these super HD beyond. What do you call them?
What's different with this TV besides it is huge? Like
well, the picture people are seeing now is an example we call ultra high definition. This is the next level of television picture. You get more detail, the colors spring out, it's almost 3D-like in its size, and every TV set maker either has come out with an ultra HD model or will. And the difference between these sets and high definition when they first came out a long time ago was the price is coming down, the features are more unique, and it gives you a deeper, richer viewing experience no matter what kind of show you watch. Whether you're watching a nature documentary, you just saw the picture there, or whether you're watching a dramatic show.
So let's talk about what people are watching. Our old friend Oprah made a comeback in 2013.
Yes,
one of the big comebacks of the year.
Yeah.
I still at 4 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I should watch Oprah.
I know.
I'm like, oh, I can't.
Teale, we miss you, Oprah, but everyone seems to have found their way to the OWN, to the Oprah Winfrey Network. How much of that is Oprah and how much of it is the Tyler Perry acquisition? Like, what's the balance over there that made it work?
Brian, a lot of it is Tyler Perry. He came off the block with 3 shows, Love Thy Neighbor, Have and the Have-Nots, and then from TBS he brought his current sitcom For Better or Worse, and they all clicked.
Pretty awful.
Yes.
But they are growing audience. I'll tell you, Have and the Have-Nots was one of the shows that rose in viewership as each episode went on. And there's something about that show. Yet it's like a little, faux dynasty, if you will, or faux Falcon Crest. But there's something about the characters and the way Tyler treats the subject matter that hooks people. And people will watch because of Tyler, whether it's because of the movies he's done or for House of Pain. He has a track record now in television as much as he has in movies, and people love watching that show. But the other part of Oprah is she found a focus with shows like Ivana Fixed My Life.
I love that
Gracie
show.
Whitney, the LaToya Jackson show.
Oh my God.
She was able, the Oprah Where Are They Now? Super Soul Sunday has been one of the sleeper hits on Sunday mornings. It's become as much in that network viewing as Face the Nation, or this week with George Stephanopoulos, Meet the Press, etc. And Oprah's network finally got the chance to gel. The big issue a year or two ago was Oprah's not gelling, but a lot of new networks, when they get off the ground, are not the way the networks ultimately show up. It takes a year or two for the network to find its voice, gel, get its viewership, and once Oprah said, all right, I'm done with my talk show, now I can concentrate full blast on my network, that's when things changed.
So 2014 is coming. What do we need to be watching in the next year?
More TV networks getting into scripted series. We're going to see networks
like
reality
TV.
And more reality TV.
Really? It's
but
the end of reality TV?
Hopefully. I was asking.
I don't think so.
Because the scripted series, is it roaring back or is reality TV?
Okay.
What's the balance of reality TV versus scripted stuff?
I think you'll see more scripted.
Yeah.
I think what reality TV you will get will be more of the empowering, transformational nature, where people have their lives transformed, where you get more helpful hints. Things like what you see on Home and Garden television, like Food Network, TLC to some extent.
So no more
I think we're getting away
Housewives.
of the backstabbing kind of stuff that you got used to on Survivor and their shows like that.
Catty stuff. All right. So what's your favorite? What has been your favorite show?
Love Breaking Bad. I thought they had a whale of a final season. It's over.
It was an amazing, amazing show.
Bryan Cranston gave one of the great performances of all time on television, and Vince Gilligan, the creator, got the chance that very few series creators ever do. He got to wrap the show the way he wanted to.
Right.
And very few series creators ever get that opportunity to do it. And he was able to do the show from beginning to end. And like I said, the binge viewing on Netflix really helped. But more importantly, the quality of the show, people got the quality, and they got Bryan Cranston's character. He and Aaron Gunn, and Anna Gunn, Aaron Paul, all the characters were just incredible. And great diversity on that show, and more importantly, great writing and directing. He gave a lot of, by the way, Vince Gilligan should get credit for giving a lot of minority directors and minority writers on that show a big shot.
What's going to fill that hole?
Well, AMC is coming up with a spin-off called Better Call Saul, based on one of the lawyer characters.
Yes, I love Saul.
And it looks like Saul's going to do it. Sony's going to put together, Sony, the studio behind Breaking Bad, is going to do it. So that's going to be one of the shows. AMC's got 2 new series that they're launching next year. One is a revolutionary war drama called Turn. And the other, from the producers of Breaking Bad, is about the beginning of Silicon Valley in the 1980s.
Oh, interesting.
Plus Better Call Saul, plus more Walking Dead, plus some new reality shows. And coming up either late next year or the year after, a spin-off of Walking Dead.
Downton Abbey has been a juggernaut for the BBC and for public TV. They're doing numbers like never before.
I love that show as well.
What's happening with that, Downton Abbey? Is it bringing us back to public TV?
Coming back another 13 episodes on Masterpiece.
13?
next year.
I thought they did 6.
No, more.
Okay.
So does that
Season
mean
4.
the miniseries is ever going to make a comeback like
It has.
Downton
It
Abbey?
has. It has. One of the neat things in the last couple of years is that the miniseries is coming back. It's coming back from the dead. In fact, one of the first miniseries this coming year, is called is a spoof of miniseries called The Spoils of Babylon. Think of the epic miniseries like Centennial or North and South. It gets spoofed. The Funny or Die folks, led by Will Ferrell, are doing it. Got a great cast. IFC is going to put it on Thursday nights in prime time. The first time I've ever done that. Usually when they do original shows, it's Friday nights, 10 o'clock on.
Yeah.
But it's going to go on Thursday nights, starting, I think, the week of January 7th. We're going to have on our show tomorrow, on Tomorrow Will Be Televised, we're going to have Matt Piedmont, who is the co-creator, the executive producer, and the director of the show. And looking forward to hearing what he tends to do. When you see the ads, by the way, you see in the subway or you see them IFC, they give you the sense this is a real miniseries. You don't get a sense that this is a spoof
mockumentary
or this is a faux miniseries.
Right.
In fact, they even show you based on the best-selling novel by an author you've never heard of.
It's going to be great.
So, looking forward to having Matt on to talk about that. It's got a great cast. Tobey Maguire from the Spider-Man movies in Pleasantville, Kristen Wiig from Saturday Night Live, Jessica Alba,
And they all have those ridiculous pictures in the subway doing those mini-series.
Plus, we had the Hatfield McCoys on History. We just had Bonnie and Clyde that was simulcast and did very well on History Channel, Lifetime, and A&E. There's a Houdini miniseries in the works with Adrian Brody, who won the Oscar several years ago. So there's a bunch of miniseries that are in play, and a lot of and also made-for-TV movies. Cable has got a big heads up on broadcast on that.
Well,
wow. So much.
Tomorrow will be televised.
Yes, so
you have
thank
to tune
you.
in and listen to that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Simon, for coming
You're
in.
welcome.
Definitely, we'll check out your podcast.
Come back.
Coming up, chicken portobello and braised boneless beef short ribs and salmon encrusted in hummus. And who knows what else. In the kitchen and at the table at the Pearl Room. But first, in complete contrast to a holiday meal on a freezing cold day in December, here's what the Afro-Punk Fest sounded like in August with Rock and Roll Victim by Death.
One, two, three, go! Your face is 20 and your eyes are red. Your face are blind and standing. I know it! You roll yourself another stick of grass. Jump on the seat and start to move your ass! You're a rock and roll victim and I know that you do, cause I'm a rock and roll victim too. The only one that you don't is your own, and that's a room inside your body. The wall is covered with the stars, you know. You just can't live without the stereo. You're a rock and roll victim and I know this is true, cause I'm a rock and roll victim too. Sometimes we say things that we really feel. Sometimes we say things that are really real. Establishment don't want no part of us, except the men from Georgia. You're a rock and roll victim and I know that you do, cause I'm a rock and roll victim too. You're a rock and roll victim and I know that you do, cause I'm a rock and roll victim too.
with shorts. Sorry.
We've had Chef Anthony Rinaldi of the Pearl Room on the show several times, and yesterday he was kind enough to offer to host us for a meal. Here's how it all went down. Deliciously. Even.
Sounds good.
Holiday season. I'm Executive Chef Anthony Rinaldi, and your host and your chef this evening. We have great friends over, and if you have great friends coming over for the holidays, we're going to show you how to prepare a meal start to finish for 5, 10, or 50 people on there. We're going to offer totally different choices today and let them pick out and start from scratch in the kitchen. Starting off, we have a braised beef short rib. The short rib is served with some wasabi mashed potatoes and sauteed escarole. We're also doing a hummus-crusted wild salmon. It's over warm lentils, grilled vegetables, and drizzled balsamic. We have a spinach-infused pappardelle. It's going to be in a truffle sauce with prime shrimp and crab meat oreganata. And I know I have a couple of vegans, so we are making an outrageous vegetable risotto out there. Of course, I'll leave out the Parmesan for you. All right, so let's see what everybody would like to eat today. Donna, why don't you come on in and take everybody's order, and we're going to go to the kitchen right after that. And as our entrees are coming out now, we have our loved ones behind us, or some of our loved ones, I should say. We're at the Pearl Room restaurant, and we'll have our entrees coming out. Gentlemen, you can bring on all our dishes over there. And it really is great to cook for the holidays. It makes you feel good having everybody under one roof, whether or at one table as you eat your dinner over here. So we have our chicken portobello coming down with the potato croquettes. We have a prosciutto wrapped pork tenderloin with golden raisins, toasted pine nuts, and a cognac sauce. We have our braised beef short rib with wasabi mashed potatoes and julienne vegetables. Over there, we have our salmon with the ginger teriyaki glaze and rice cakes.
Thank you.
Going into some of the other dishes I'd like to talk about today on there that no one did order is spinach-infused pappardelle in the truffle sauce and prime shrimp and crab meat oreganata. I hope that short rib is fork tender.
It certainly is.
Wow.
Eat it with the spoon.
Okay.
Work.
Is everybody enjoying everything? All right. So now let's go to the kitchen. We're going to see how easy it was to do. Today we're making a hummus-crusted wild salmon. It's over warm lentils, grilled vegetables with a little drizzle of balsamic. Excuse my kitchen, we're putting out a couple of orders why we do this. So we're going to start off with some grilled vegetables, and if you're at the house or you're looking to barbecue grilled vegetables, to make it a little bit simpler, if you put them in a bowl, you want to drizzle a little oil on them while you're moving around, a little salt, a little pepper on there, and now you want to go to your grill. By putting this on there, makes it a lot quicker for you to grill. Okay, now when we have our salmon, you got to keep in mind, fish is much better. You throw a little bit of flour before we put it, before we sear the fish off. What that does is dry up any of the extra water that's on the fish, so it won't give you oil and water do not mix. So that. And again, you always want to get that nice sear going. What that sear does is lock in the juice of the fish, and by doing that, it does not let any oil penetrate the salmon. Very important. So that's why when you're somewhere, or you're at your house cooking something, and you get an oily fish, it's because your oil wasn't hot enough, and you let the oil penetrate your fish, and didn't lock in the juice. Okay? So now that we took off our glove, we're just going to cross over some of these vegetables on there. Now that we got a nice sear going over here, hummus. Hummus is very easy. It's grounded chickpeas, tahini paste. If you can't find tahini paste, don't worry about it. Just make sure you have some garlic in there and extra virgin olive oil, very important, on there. So right now, that's what we're gonna do. After we sear the salmon, we have our vegetables. You wanna get a nice little marking on them. Lentils, Ree? Where's the lentils? Up top? Okay. We have some lentils going. And this is what you want your salmon to look like after you sear it. Got a nice color going on to it. So if we were making 10 salmon, I would have a tray set up and we'd actually take the salmon and we'd put it inside the tray and then we'd spread the hummus on there. So in other words, I do that, I put a little oil in the pan on the bottom, nice and hot. Hummus is here. What you want to do is put a light spreading of hummus right on the top over here. This is going to go right in the broiler. Okay, so the reason why we're not cooking it in the oven, because the time that hummus crusts over the salmon on there is the time the fish is going to be fully cooked, now that we seared it. Over here. We have some lentils, we have our vegetables. And we're going to start building our dish now. Actually, we'll use one of these squares over here. I'll bag it up for you, B. Coming down. Just a little bit of lentils in the middle. I have our lentils over there. Salmon should be good. Okay. Okay. Aquí. Okay. And over here, we're going to have our salmon. Nice. And all this dish is missing is a light sauce on there. We're going to have a light balsamic. Okay. And a little bit of fresh parsley. And here's our salmon. It's our hummus crusted wild salmon over warm lentils, grilled vegetables with drizzled balsamic. So now that we know Brian's enjoying his salmon, let's see how Kai's doing with her chicken. I hope we're enjoying it.
This is delicious. It's really, really good. Is this breaded chicken?
No, it's actually just pan-seared. It's a crispy portobello. It's the way we grilled the portobello. Almost gives you a little breadcrumb with a balsamic fig sauce. But I'm going to go to the kitchen now. We're going to show you how easy it is to make.
All right.
We're going to start off with the chicken portobello. Always be careful with chicken. You want to make sure your chicken's cooked, and if it's not cooked, you don't want it to touch anything else while it's raw, okay? So, salt, pepper. We're going to give the chicken a nice sear in the pan. These are marinated portobellos. How we started these portobellos, after we peeled them, we drizzled balsamic, cooked them off with garlic and shallots and balsamic just in the oven. That's it. We let the mushrooms are very porous. So any mushroom is very porous. So what you're doing is while you're cooking that off, it's absorbing all that balsamic, all the oil, all the garlic on there. So we're just going to give these a nice little light grill to them. right. While that's happening, we're going to use a little fresh mozzarella. And this is going to be perfect. On there. Just get a little of that flavor in there. Let's slice everything up now. So here's our portobello mushrooms. All right. All this is going to go right back across the chicken. Let us start with our mozzarella over the top. We're going to add in, this is our fig sauce. It's our fig puree. We're going to use a little balsamic in here. Going to finish it right up in the broiler. And that's going to be our fig balsamic reduction with the grilled portobellos and the fresh mozzarella. And I'm going to show you how we plate it. Okay, we got a seasoned pan. Julienne vegetables. On there, we're going to lay this chicken portobello right over it. Oh, baby, perfect. This, we're going to come around. You want to make sure you get a couple of those nice chunks of the figs that are around the dish. And this is a beautiful chicken portobello. This is our chicken portobello with the balsamic fig sauce. I hope you enjoy it. Now that we made the chicken portobello with the balsamic fig sauce, let's look at some simple vegan options as well. Over here we have a nice vegetable risotto, and it's very colorful for the holidays. And as your dinner starts to wind down, remember, nothing is a challenge. Nothing really is. You have loved ones, friends that you want to have over. Don't feel that you can't do it and have people over your house and cook for them. So please join us. Join your loved ones. Have everybody over. I hope you guys really enjoyed everything.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you, Chef. Compliments to the chef.
And that's how easy it is.
Beautiful.
Thanks. Join us soon. Merry Christmas.
Wow, now I'm starving after that.
Well, thank you again to
Seriously.
Chef Rinaldi and his mother Nancy out there at the Pearl Room on 3rd in Bay Ridge. We had such a phenomenal time, a little Last Supper action out there.
Looks amazing.
It's really good. Really
So
good.
tomorrow I'll be back here with Brian and Tati and all the rest of our BK Live hosts. We're going to talk about the year in Brooklyn, what we loved, what we didn't love so much, and what we found funny.
That's right. It's a roundtable that'll focus on Brooklyn and Brooklyn only. All right? Twerking was a national phenomenon, but we'll get into local politics, the arts, and the issues that we've been spotlighting on BK Live.
And Michael Bellamy will have his own roundtable looking at this year's sports stories from high school and college all the way up to the Nets.
The Nets. And we'll end this year with a cup of tea. That's right, some real Russian tea from a samovar, as we learn about Russian holiday traditions, Brooklyn style, from the folks who run St. Petersburg Bookstore in Brighton Beach.
And that'll be our final show for 2013. So we can catch our breath, celebrate the holidays, and get to work making the show even better. After Tomorrow, we'll be back on January 6th, but in the interim, we'll be presenting a number of BK Live specials showing off some of our best interviews and performances.
And a lot of our best ideas come right from you. So while we may not be coming to you live for the next couple of weeks, we still want to know what you'd like to cover. So send us your ideas. We love to hear from you guys at tips@bricartsmedia.org. But we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll be back. Thank you so much for watching.
All right, bye now.